Yo, welcome everyone to the Desync podcast. This is
What's up, guys?
our fourth episode, session 5. This is going to get confusing as it goes longer, but that's the correct number. And today we have joining with us, no special guest, just my co-host Mike. And today we're talking about what makes a good streamer. What makes a good streamer, Mike?
A lot of things. So I think
Basically, you want to take what Mike is doing and just do the complete opposite.
Yes.
And
but go ahead.
No, sorry, I was just gonna shit on me too. But no, go ahead, brother.
No, I don't know. There's so many things that we were just talking about it before, that there used to be like one type of streamer, right? And it was game streamers. And now there's like tons and tons of different streamers. So it used to be like pretty good at the game.
What do you call them? Let's play?
Knowledgeable about... I wouldn't call them Let's Play because that's like a YouTube category.
Different. Okay. All right.
I would just call them like gameplay streamers.
Okay.
Because Let's Play streamers are super weird. They're like one stream that's turned into 15 different videos, basically, right? That's like a Let's Play. They play for like 20 minutes, and then that's a video, and then 20 minutes, and then that's another video.
Gotcha.
But like, because streams are so long, I think it takes a different type of person to make that gameplay session engaging or whatever for a viewer on a Twitch stream rather than on a YouTube video, right? Because you're interacting. So I think for me, what makes a good gameplay streamer is like, you're decent at the game, you can make it entertaining, but you also provide that chat interaction. And I think some of my favorite ones know when to stop talking to chat and focus on what is entertaining on the screen for them, right? Because a lot of games are slow at points, and then there's moments of just, awesomeness, and chat's gone for that moment because they know everybody's watching what's happening, right?
Yeah.
So I think like knowing what to do at the right time is important.
Dude, I think those moments that I have where I'm doing something in game and out of the corner of my eye, I just see the chat rolling up fast because of something that's happening, and I can't read the chat because I'm engaged with what's going on. Those are some of my favorite moments, because it's like,
true.
Typically when you're not reading chat, people stop chatting.
Dead.
Yeah.
Yep.
So when people are chatting and you're not reading chat, you know something cool is happening. And I guess to add on to what you were saying is, really, I'm just saying it in a different way. I think a good streamer is someone who knows how to create moments, because personally, I don't know how you feel about this. What do you think about, I'm going to get back to my point, but what do you think about lengths of stream? How short do you think a stream should be? How long should it, like, what's a short stream? What's a long stream? What's a good amount of time a streamer should be streaming every day, you think?
Ooh,
what's too long? Because let me give you a scenario. I have someone...
You stream a lot longer than me.
I do.
Normally.
I do. But sometimes you stream longer than me. It just depends on the week. But lately, I've been streaming a lot. And I had someone come to me and they were asking, like, I'm working on YouTube videos, but I'm also streaming. They're streaming 60 hours a week, some weeks.
Jeez.
Long streams, 10 hours a day. And I'm telling them, hey, you need to focus on YouTube. Take a day off. Take 2 days off.
They never want to listen. I've been telling everybody in the Star Citizen community for years now, got to focus on YouTube. Got to focus. But the stream. The stream.
The 70-30 split's coming up, so it's even harder, right? At least for, people like myself. By the way, 369 subs.
Hey.
Let's go. For now,
Keep it
right?
up.
Yeah, absolutely. We got to make it 3 months, but it's a good feeling. But I think, like, for me, if your stream is going 8 hours and like nothing, you can squeeze your whole stream into 6 hours, I think. I don't think there's a reason you need to be streaming 8 hours unless the content in front of you is so good you can literally not hit the end stream button. Because the moment that you've created is not over,
Yes.
But if you can't come to a stopping place in 6-7 hours, I would say you're going too long with probably not a lot of return, most likely. Would you agree?
Yes, but I also I would would address a little bit, like you making the moment. Sometimes you don't, right?
Sure.
Sometimes you recognize that there's one there. And that's like a skill in of itself, that
Yeah.
you are like, this is happening and I need to make the most of it, right? Like there's times where I've watched like your videos or other or your streams or others that the they recognize that this is an opportunity, right? And they
Yeah.
make the most of the opportunity. And then there's times where it's already happening and you're just making sure you're a part of it, you know?
Dude, you know what my favorite thing is? Is having such a cool moment organically, not scripted,
Yep.
that you post it to YouTube and people are like, this is scripted. This is clearly set up. This
Yep.
is
That's how
fake.
you know you did
Paid
good.
viewers. That's how you know it was a good moment, because people are thinking
Yeah.
in their heads, this is too
There's
good
no
to be
way.
true. This is too good to be true. There was a moment I had on stream about 2 weeks ago. I was playing my main game, Star Citizen, and I fly down to an outpost randomly, and I see these guys hovering above this freelancer, and which is a trading ship, and they're clearly about to pirate this guy. And I'm like, I'm gonna go warn this guy. Run into the building. You know, I'm talking to him like, you know these guys outside? He's like shaking his head. No, he can hear me, but he can't talk. I'm like, all right, well, we're gonna team up, bro. We're gonna take him down. We ended up taking down the pirates together. It's this cool moment. He was like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And the amount of comments that I got that were like, this is scripted, it's not real, are unbelievable. Like, people just couldn't believe like something organic like that happened.
Yeah.
And I feel like stuff like that happens to me all the time. I think that it's a good content creator is someone who recognizes a opportunity and knows how to capitalize on it for content, I think. Because what comes to mind is, I don't know if you even enjoy his content, but Dr. Disrespect has I love him. I think he's a great creator. And he had this moment years ago where he had like this win in the bag for this battle royale, and he goes for the 360 no scope and he misses and he loses. But like, he didn't care. He's like laughing it off because like he'd rather have the moment than get the W, you know? And I think that's what being a streamer is all about, is creating the moment rather than just going for the easy win or the easy layup or the low hanging fruit. I personally think it's exaggerating content in the best way possible.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think, like, you know, a lot of the Fortnite guys that blew up that back in the day when Fortnite first popped, it was very similar. There was so many like kids playing, or so many kids playing on like their phone or whatever, because I think it was like crossplay. So there was so many opportunities to fight players who were way less skilled than you, and you could just do crazy trick shots or crazy building and like all this stuff, and they just made everything look so cool, right?
Dude.
And yeah.
These keyboard and mouse players coming. Can we talk about it a second? These keyboard and mouse players plugging their keyboard and mouse into their phone and then going up against the mobile. Imagine just being on mobile, like your thumbs are like going wild, and all of a sudden, just in the distance,
people are
like
flick-shotting
kill
you.
feed. You know, it's like kill. Ninja is killed. Kill. And it's like, what do you even do about that? It's dude, those people are a menace. But
yeah,
I mean, they're doing it for content, right? Like, and it's not that, I mean, I respect the hustle. I don't really respect the decision, but it's like, you know, that people have been trying to do stuff like that since the dawn of time. That's why people script stuff. That's why people, you know, are doing like the crazy TikTok videos where they're like going around doing stupid pranks in malls, because like at the end of the day, that's a bad example of someone who exaggerates content, right? You know, have you seen the one where they'll go and like cut people's earphones off?
Oh my God.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Really bad example of someone doing that. It's great content, honestly, but they're going too far, right?
Berks. I'm gonna double it and pass it to the next person. Okay? All right. I'm just gonna pass it.
But how can you be mad, right? Whenever they hand you like a pair of like EarPod Pros, you know, you really can't be. But that's the asshole thing, is now you make them the bad guy for being mad.
Yeah,
right?
It's so stupid.
It's so stupid. But
do you watch like any IRL or any any non-game stream, like gameplay streams?
I do. Yeah.
What do you think makes like for good versions of that, right? Because like obviously we're gameplay streamers for the most part.
Yeah.
I react a little bit as well. I think you're injecting your personality as much as possible into things is
Absolutely.
really important, and I think that's something
Absolutely.
I've managed to do, I guess.
I think there's a lot of, I would rather be a just chatting streamer than an IRL streamer.
Yeah.
I know there's a big difference.
I've just started like making my way into that. Is not like okay, we were just talking about this before the stream on like our main game is not as popular right now, and our average view counts are dipping a little bit, and our max view counts too, and we were talking about the numbers that we were at. So I looked just I never got to say it because we were setting up. Today's stream was 410 was my max. Yesterday's stream, and I was playing our main game, Star Citizen, and yesterday I was in just chatting the whole time, just watching random videos, hanging out, talking to chat. My max view count was 405. That is like a very satisfying and awesome thing.
That's awesome.
And I think it's because I really tried to cultivate that and not have it just be about the game.
You're absolutely right. And let me tell you something. Anyone who's listening out here trying to become a content creator, Mike has just explained why YouTube is more important than Twitch. Let me explain. He has set up a whole Reacts channel that does better than his main channel, which is for Star Citizen. And because of that, he has created an audience of people, even if it's like a small percentage that come over from YouTube, that now want to watch him do React content and talk about stuff and watch stuff with them. He's created that community outside of Twitch and brought them over to his stream. So not only is he double dipping when he watches Star Citizen videos, but now he's double dipping when he watches just any kind of video and reacts to it or hangs out with stream and talks about it, right? A topic or anything. And so that right there is exactly why creating YouTube content is more important than streaming. You need to be doing both, probably, right? Especially if you want to be a streamer.
Probably.
Well, some people want to be a streamer
today.
Yeah.
If you want to be a streamer today and you're starting today and you're not doing YouTube or
Completely
TikTok,
agree.
I would say you have no chance.
Completely agree. 100%.
For now.
Unless you get insanely lucky.
Well, there's this whole thing with Twitch. I don't know if you caught TwitchCon, but the whole thing with the swiping up,
the clips,
maybe that has a chance, but I don't know.
They should just make it. I mean, the format of Twitch is already sideways. They should just make it where you turn your phone sideways and you swipe that way. Why not?
True.
That's what they should do.
I don't like the idea of having to, because Twitch.
Let me ask you a question. When you watch a Twitch clip on your phone, which way do you turn the phone? Do you keep it vertical? You watch the small cube?
No.
Well, there you go.
But I'm old.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe people who are listening to this podcast, how do you watch your Twitch clips on your phone?
I'm gonna look at my stats right now. I'm
Team vertical?
If it's there, and how you find it, like if people are watching on mobile or not, it doesn't show for us. They give us such bad analytics, Twitch.
I'm just talking about clips, right? But if you guys didn't hear, what Mike is talking about is they're introducing a stories or reels or TikTok style scrolling thing where you'll go from one clip to the next. And
you have the opportunity, if they're live, to like go watch that streamer. Twitch doesn't have and the reason why we're saying you need to make a YouTube channel is because Twitch doesn't have any discovery, and this is like their attempt at discovery.
Now, you want to hear something interesting? We talked about this on my stream, and you will not believe the amount of people who spoke up and were like, "I actually found you from the recommended channels."
Really?
Probably.
That's interesting.
I was probably a couple hundred viewers, and probably 10, 15 people were saying it. They're like, "Yeah, I found you from recommended," which like not everyone's going to speak up, and that's not everyone. But I was surprised.
Pretty big percentage.
I was surprised that many spoke up and were like, maybe some people didn't speak up, or maybe some people didn't say, but I'm a bigger streamer, right, than the average streamer on Twitch. I know you don't like to think of us as we can at least say we're medium streamers, right?
Yeah.
I feel like it's a fair title.
Feel small.
Yeah, do you?
I do.
You're bigger than like 99% of streams on Twitch.
I know, but I still feel small.
Maybe small compared to 60K viewers.
True, and the funny thing is I never want to be there.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly don't really either. If I ever get to the point where chat moves too fast where I cannot read it, like I can't have a conversation at all. It gets weird. Like XQC chat, not that I'll ever make it there, right? We're talking about you'd have to win the lottery, get lucky, become a cartoon character.
Eat your toenails.
Light fireworks on your bed. You got to do the whole 9 yards to get there. But I don't think I would enjoy that. That being said, it's like there are multi-thousand viewer streamers that have decent communication with their chats, and I think I could see us there one day for sure.
I would love to be between 2,000 and 5,000.
Yeah.
I think that would be like it's like making a comfortable living most likely, and you're able to do what I love about streaming would be the interaction. That's the most important thing for me. Like
absolutely,
streaming can be great, but it can be great streams are great to watch, right? But what makes streaming fun is that aspect of it for me. And if streaming isn't fun, why do it, right? Like so many people are looking for these
completely agree.
These careers that they're like, oh man, like imagine playing video games for a living. It's like, no, imagine having fun for a living. Like that's what it is. That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
Wow, I get to have fun.
Dude, I love streaming as a career. I've talked about it on the podcast a couple times. I used to work in film. I did like working in film. I hated who I worked for. Like 99% of my jobs sucked. They were really bad. And the people who I worked for were usually terrible. And so I think this pivots us into our next question though, right? I love streaming. I love that I get to do this every single day. I'm so lucky. So my question for you, Mike, and I guess for me too, is if you started today, 0 followers, 0 YouTubers, right? Subscribers on YouTube. You were absolutely bottom out, 0 to hero. Do you think that you would make it?
No. Because all right, you and I started in very different ways. So just in case you guys haven't caught like previous episodes, where we talked about our history a little bit, I started 2013, 2014, something like that, and I started in the Star Citizen directory, and there were tens of streamers. Right? It wasn't. There were, the average. The view count on the whole directory was in the hundreds, like maybe 200, 300, 400, 500, something like that. So getting noticed was a lot easier, right? And I was in the smaller of even that category, obviously, when I started, because there were some people who were establishing themselves at that time, and because of that, the content creator community was a little bit smaller. So we started talking to each other. I make a podcast called Redacted, blah, blah, blah. And so I already did the YouTube thing before it was popular, and people started coming over and finding me from there. If I started today, the way I started, how would I make those connections with other content creators and start? Right. That's where I made it, was like through networking in a way, right? Is like we were all friends with each other kind of. And then like some of us worked together and really worked together. Right. And I owe, everything to WTFosaurus Board Gamer. That was my springboard to get into where I am today.
Interesting.
And I'm not sure I could in Star Citizen. That's the thing. If I did it again in another game that was about to take off, if you really like, if you're, I think it might be a little bit too late for Starfield, but if you're really, really hyped about Starfield, like every time there was a crumb of information, YouTube video, live stream talking about it, right?
Mm.
Anytime, Ashes of Creation, I think is a game that if you're thinking about getting into, there might be something there at some point, like Alpha
Now's the
2,
time to
whenever
plant
that
the
happens,
seeds.
right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So, like a lot of us were sowing those seeds in Star Citizen while it wasn't a game, and I mean, it's debatable if it is now still, but the the idea of sowing those seeds then. So yeah, when I say no, I'm thinking like from a Star Citizen perspective.
Yeah.
Is how would anybody notice me in the directory now? It'd be really
Mm.
hard.
Yeah. And I mean, this kind of leads us into our next question. And so I'll answer before we go
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
which is
Before you answer, do you think I you started at a time where like the category was already established, and
Sure.
I think you already did do it really successfully
Hmm.
in a time where when you came in much later, Twitch was much bigger, and it was much harder
It's true.
to get discovery on Twitch. So
It's true.
if you want to share some insights on like what you did and how
Yeah.
you did it and all that.
Well, it's even harder today, right? Is what I'll say.
Yeah.
Like,
Sure.
I think I would have trouble doing it today as well, but I got to be honest. I think my answer is different. I think I would make it, 100%.
I think so too, because you did already. Like in a lot
Well,
of ways, you did.
and I got to be honest with you, Mike. I feel like you could make it too. Would your approach have to be different? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
The question is, would the stars align in the same way where you feel like you could make it, so you are motivated enough to make it happen? Right?
That's
Because
yeah,
you
you
were
need that.
working your, dealing job for years. How many years?
I mean, we're talking about nearly 10, I think.
Nearly 10. So during the better part of that, you're streaming, right?
Yeah.
For
Oh,
me,
I worked for 15 years in the casino. 10
Yeah.
years was streaming and dealing.
so let me tell you my approach. If you guys didn't catch the previous episode, my approach was a little bit different. So how I started streaming was I started streaming different games than Star Citizen. I started in Call of Duty. I was like a 10 viewer, Apex a little bit, 10 viewer, 15 viewer Andy on a good day. I remember one day I was playing the Call of Duty Black Ops version of the zombies, and like I had like 12 viewers, and someone in chat was like, wow, the stream's really popping off today. And I was like, be cool. You got 12 viewers. Like, I'm literally over the moon. That was an incredible feat to me. And at that point, I was watching my viewer count. I don't do that anymore. And I guess my advice to anyone out there would be, turn your viewer count off. Stream like you are a 500,000, 2,000 viewer streamer, no matter what your viewer count is, right?
Yep.
But that's not the point. The point is, I see the Star Citizen category. Someone suggested to me, it was my stepbrother actually. He's like, there's this game, it's right up your alley. I was already doing the space persona. I love space and sci-fi. It's something that's I've always been passionate about. I wanted to be an astronaut when I was younger, and then I was like, no, you got to be really smart and you got to go to school for a long time. That's not really for me. I'm like dyslexic. I suck at school. So I was like, oh, I'll be an astronomer. And then that didn't really work out either because, like, again, same thing. And I was just like, I had picked up a knack for camera work, so I just went into that. But when I saw the Star Citizen category, I was like, man, here's an opportunity to dive into this game that maybe isn't finished yet. And I look at the category and I see the people who are streaming it and the amount of people streaming it. And I thought to myself, I was like, I could be up there. I could do that. Like these guys up there, I'm like looking at the people who are the top 3 streamers and I'm like, I could do that. So literally what I'm doing is I'm going to my job in the morning, right? Studio, 8 a.m. I'm there sleeping in my car during my lunch break, not eating, sleeping in my car just to get rest, going home, taking another app, and then streaming from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. every day. And I did that for months.
Yeah, because I would catch you when I was getting ready to stream. I would see it and I'm like, this guy's nuts, dude.
Yes, I did that for months. And people are like, how did you make it? I worked for it. Because do you think I would have got the same recognition if I was streaming at the same time as like the bigger streamers at the time? No. I don't think so.
That's a really good point too. Is I the streamers that I started like during when I started streaming, there was like, all right, there's a big one that is Australian,
Hmm.
and he goes offline around 7 or so in the morning my time. Then there's another, so his name was Mercenary Thorn, and then there was this guy
Hmm.
Bad News Baron who would stream at like 8, 9, 10 my time, something like that, and I put myself right in the middle of them.
Hmm.
And I would watch, if Mercenary Thorn would go off, I would watch my view count go up. Bad News Baron would come on, and I'd watch my view count go down. So it was the most depressing thing of all time.
Same. That
It
stuff
was like,
happened to
wow.
me too.
And I'm just sitting there going, wow. So nobody wants to watch me. I'm just the buffer between these two people, and it
Yep.
was like kind of depressing actually.
Yep.
And but then you figure out what you really. I listened to what people said I was doing wrong or what they didn't like. I think feedback is really, really good. And
Hmm.
even in the most nasty, like disgusting feedback you'll see in a YouTube comment or in a Twitch stream, there's something there for you. And just take it all in and listen to it and go, does he have, even though he was a dick, does he have a point? Or and what is that point, right? And a lot of the times they did, and you just take the
Yes.
feedback and you start going, oh, okay, maybe I should do this or something.
Absolutely. And that's something I realized, that if you're going to be a content creator, if you're going to be a streamer, you're going to be on. And I don't mean online. I mean you're on. You are energetic. You're engaged. You're entertaining your chat for 8 hours a day, right? Maybe 6, maybe 4, whatever you're doing at the time. If you're going to be doing that, then you have to become so self-critical. And I mean this in a healthy way, right? Because if you need to go open up your stream and watch yourself for 30 minutes to an hour and be like, would I watch this stream? Was that weird? Would I close out of this? I would do that all the time. Not anymore.
I did that too a lot. I need to do it some more. I remember
Sure.
like a few times just watching something that happened and laughing and not thinking that it was weird. Like, because I feel like somebody might hear me say that and go, wow, that's really egotistical or whatever. But it was actually like exactly what you said. Would I watch this? And even
Yeah.
watching it back, you could take yourself out of the equation and go, was this a cool moment, or was this funny, or was this
Yeah.
X, Y,
And there were sometimes I watched
occasionally it is.
Yeah, sorry to cut you off. I thought you were
it's all
done.
good.
But what would happen was I would watch myself sometimes when I was like, oh man, that was really weird. I said that. Oh, I was like, rude to this guy, whatever. And I'd watch it back and I'd be like, oh man, no, I actually did great there. And it was reassuring. So I'm not even talking about negatively, but sometimes you'll watch yourself and be like, I did that really well. That's good. I should do more of that. And something that a lot of streamers need to realize is that when you have a viewer count of, let's say 50, the same 50 people are not watching you the entire stream. One person leaves, 2 people come in. 2 people leave, 3 people come in. 3 people leave, 1 person comes in. And this is happening the entire stream. So you can tell the same stories a couple of times. You can make the same joke a couple of times. You can create moments over and over again and it not get old. Or you can remind people of things that happened, or update people of what happened in the stream 30 minutes ago or whatever. Don't be afraid to kind of double dip with your viewership, so to speak. The people who are watching you at the beginning of the stream most likely are not the people watching you at the end of the stream. Yes, you're going to have the dedicated chatters, but for the most part, if you tell a story at the beginning of the stream and then you can tell it in the middle or at the end and be like, oh, if you weren't here earlier, oh, this happened with, my girlfriend or my dog or whatever. Don't be afraid to be a bit of an entertainer. These, comics who are going and doing shows around the country and getting an hour show, 2-hour show. These guys are telling the same jokes over and over and over and over and over again. 2 hours of content. They're just reusing, bro, over and over and over again. I mean, listen, if it's good.
And then they post it on Netflix.
And don't get me wrong, some of these people are hilarious. But my point is this. Don't feel like you need to make new content for viewers who have already left, right? sometimes you can double dip a little bit, or tell the same story or whatever. But where were we going with this, Mike?
You just that people were coming and going.
Oh yeah,
and that like recognizing that. And I was going to jump in because it's actually become a bit of a meme that people, I don't know what it is, dude. First time chatter pops in and is like, what's going on? Like, catch me up.
Yeah.
But I'm like, wait, what? Hold on. We're in a room because Twitch streaming is so weird because you're in a room by yourself streaming. They're in a room by themselves watching, most likely, right? And but there's like 500 people there.
Yeah, I love it.
Right? But they don't recognize, because you're not actually in the room. And they're like, excuse me, like raising their hand. Can you tell me, stop everything you're doing and tell me what happened? And I thought that was so weird. And like I talked about how I felt that was weird. And now it's turned into a meme for people to come in and be like, hey, I've been gone for about 20 minutes. Can I get a recap of what just happened? And then we just give a recap of what's going on.
I think it's nice. You know, so a lot of people, the question I get a lot is, what are we doing today? Or, oh, like I just got here. What's happening?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, okay, like they want a goal. And I've kind of gotten better at like creating goals for the stream. I think it really helps me create that content that we've talked about wanting to make. But okay, I think we move into the next question, which is, we've got 2 banger questions coming up. All right, are you ready? Question number 1. I'm going to ask this one first. Do you think Star Citizen is too big of a category today to grow in?
No.
No? I don't think so either.
Not yet. Well, maybe not ever, but I don't think any category is too big to grow in, but it might be too hard sometimes.
Really?
Well, no, some are, but no.
I wouldn't suggest a new streamer go stream like Overwatch, you know?
No, but if you could, all right, I'll give an example of a Formula One guy. Formula One, huge in Europe, huge channels on YouTube, so many established things, so many podcasts, all these things. And there's this guy, I just see the most ridiculous thumbnail I've ever seen in my entire life. And I click on it, right? But the video has like 300,000 views. He's already somewhat established at this point. But his YouTube channel is a year old, right? And he's huge, and it's just because he like carved out this ridiculous out of this world, insane, like just ridiculous like takes, and like just out. Formula One is like very posh and very proper, like they're all from England and stuff, and this guy's just got a mohawk. He's sitting in a bathtub making like the most edgy, insane jokes that ever, and just like breaks the mold, right? So anybody can break the mold,
sure,
but you have to break the mold. You have to you can't go into a category and do the same thing everybody else is doing.
Completely agree. However, this guy did this on YouTube, right?
Yes, but
I think do the same thing on Twitch though, right?
You did.
Well, I mean, exception not the rule, right? And I mean, I talked about how I was able to overcome that. And it wasn't until I was hitting about 150 viewers, 125,
what was
that
the
I said,
moment?
Let me switch over to daytime. And I started doing really early.
Yep.
I quit my job. And I started doing, yeah.
When you did that, I was like, oh, here goes another one in the bucket that is gonna struggle with this, because it's so hard.
Here's my secret weapon.
I didn't know you at the time.
Sure. Here's my secret weapon.
I think if I knew you, I would say the opposite.
Sure. No, I totally get that. And people have said the same thing, like been in the position that I've said. And I think I even inspired a couple of people to try.
Oh yeah.
And they didn't make it, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to name those people because I respect it. I thought they had great content. But not everyone makes it. And sometimes you do everything right, and that's not enough, right? So you need a little bit of luck. You need a little bit of luck, you know? And so I was in a position where I had excess savings because I had a really well-paying job for a long time. And I was in a position where I hated my job. I was streaming part-time, streaming Star Citizen, like I said, 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., 125 viewers, that's where I was hitting. I said, it's time to transition to morning streams. And I quit my job and I went full-time. 6 months, I was paying my bills with Star Citizen streams. And that was an unbelievable feat to me. I was in the green. Just barely, by the way. And my bills were so low. Like as low as you can think. I'm paying like, maybe $650 a month for rent. I'm like, no car payment. I mean, I have 2 roommates, right? No car payment, bottom of the barrel insurance, no, dentist, no health insurance. I'm cooking all my meals at home, not eating out at all. I'm literally but again, I have savings, but I'm trying to be careful. I'm being frugal. I'm being smart. But I wouldn't suggest doing what I did, by the way, at all. I would not suggest doing what I did.
I wouldn't either.
But to be fair, in my situation, I think it was calculated. I think it was very calculated. And obviously it worked out for me. And now I'm making I would say very reasonable salary streaming. It's not like insane, but it's reasonable. And I do that because I have an amazing community, right? But it's like, I think that for me, if you were a new streamer and you were like, can I grow in the Star Citizen community? How do I do it? Do I have to do what you did? Do I have to stream at 10 p.m.? And my answer is maybe, honestly. But what's the best time to stream Star Citizen? The times you don't want to, which is honestly for us right now. These are the best times to grow in Star Citizen as a small streamer. And hear me out why. Because all of the
none
bigger
of the big ones are playing.
Yes. None of the bigger streamers are playing. All the medium-sized streamers are taking a break. The smaller streamers are taking a break. Why? Because the content's not as interesting. They're going and playing something else, right? While you're here, you're swooping in. You're consistent. And that's probably my number one tip. And we're going to talk about more tips on how we think a successful streamer, what makes a good streamer, what's going to make you successful. Maybe, right? No guarantees, but best shot. And I think consistency is the number one thing. If you're streaming for 4 weeks and then you take 6 weeks off and then you stream for another 2 weeks and then take, 3 weeks off and then you stream for another, 5 weeks and then take a week off or 2 weeks off, your viewership is not going to grow that much. You got to give yourself time. And that sounds hard. Oh, I've got a family. I've got kids. I've got, pets, whatever. Like you're going to have to work around that stuff if you want to make it work. And it's not for everyone, but it's not for everyone, right?
You have to sacrifice. And the main thing you should sacrifice, in my opinion, and this isn't a healthy thing to do, but this is what I did, was I made the choice of, am I going to sacrifice my personal life with like now my wife, and ruin that relationship? Am I gonna sacrifice my friendships? What am I gonna sacrifice? I just sacrificed a little sleep, right? That's what I did. So I still spent as much time as I could with my friends. I spent as much time as I could with my wife. I worked as little as I could while still being able to pay things and all that. And then I worked less and less and less. I had the opportunity to do that in the industry that I was in. But for me, that's, there were some sleepless nights. I remember like one of the best things I did was, one of my first YouTube videos that really helped my channel grow was, Star Citizen came out with this new thing, jail. And there was an escape route to get out. I stayed up all night and recorded an escape. And I showed exactly how to get out, and I was the first one to post a video on that. And did I do it better than anybody? Nope. I probably did it worse than everybody, but it didn't matter because I got there first. And so sometimes you just have to sacrifice a little bit of sleep. I mean, for streaming, because we're talking about streaming, the consistency of I'm here every day, night, whatever it is, when you're free, you take those moments and Berks has talked a lot about 8 hours, 6 hours, whatever. I think you just do what you can, right? Do what you can, and then take more, like find ways to make it more and more and more of to grow and grow and grow, and then start trying to manipulate to 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 make it more a part of your life as best you can, you know.
I completely
If this is
agree.
what you really if this is what you really want. But the thing is, you better really want this,
You gotta
right?
want it.
Because it's a big sacrifice. You have to love it.
And
And
it's
I went through this with a lot of people,
yep.
talking to them and like people that I worked with on that podcast and stuff, right? It was a lot of conversations about do you really love this?
Yep.
Because you know that was a lot of conversations is is everybody putting in the same effort as everyone else, right? Because do you really enjoy it or not? And that was a lot of of the struggles that you have, right?
Yeah. And I
It's tough.
do personally. I love it. And
Some days I don't, but
it's
it's when we
people
have conversations like this, I remember how much I do.
yeah. And some people don't realize probably the hardest thing about streaming is the mental energy it takes. And it's like a
Yep.
muscle. It really is. When I first started streaming, I'd stream for 2 hours and I'd be exhausted afterwards.
Hmm.
I'm like, man, this is tough. But then now I can do a 16-hour stream and feel like I don't even break a sweat. But keep in mind, if you do, I mean, I'm very lucky to not have a wife, not have a family, and the sense of it gave me a lot more free time to focus on building my stream. So I was very lucky in that sense. And some people are out there and they have kids, they have a wife, they have a family, they have responsibilities, a full-time job, and they're like, man, how can I fit this in? And you know, I'll tell you, dude, I don't have any magic answer for you, but it's gonna take work. And some people do it. You know, I look at you know, people like our guest last week, Jesse Kazam, you know, who he's had a full-time job. He works in film too.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, not anymore, but he's a full-time streamer now, but he has a family and he was able to do it, right? And so I think that it's totally possible, but it's just going to take a lot of dedication, a lot of hard work, and you're going to have to sacrifice playing video games in your free time, or streaming will have to become
Yep.
your hobby, like your thing that you do outside of all your
Yep.
other responsibilities if you want to make it work. And you're in a situation like that. If you're single, if you don't have kids, if you like have a part-time job, man, you should be going to the moon. You should be sending it 6-hour streams every day. If you've got the time to do it, that's the consistency you need. And then you need to be posting one YouTube video a week minimum, which is advice that I need to follow as well. But let me ask you a question, Mike. As we're talking about this, it's really easy to get, and this is something you've talked about a lot, is imposter syndrome, right?
Well, yeah. When we were coming up with like, are we gonna do this podcast? I was like, why would anybody want to hear what I have to say? I'm not successful. And you're like, what are you talking about? And
It's so
I
funny
don't
to
feel
me.
that. I don't feel that way. I go through this all the time. I don't. What's funny though is like I've definitely seen Twitch streamers who've written books or self-help or Twitter accounts that tell people how to stream, and then
And they're way smaller than you.
I go and check their average view count, and that it's smaller than mine, and I'm like, oh, okay, well that's interesting. But everything they're saying is like good advice, but I just like I do. Why would anybody want to listen to me? I'm not Dr. Disrespect. I'm not Summit 1G. I'm not the biggest streamer on Twitch. Wouldn't you want to listen to those people?
Yeah.
I think that the difference is there's only a handful of them, but there's thousands and thousands of people who are in like we're probably at the bottom end of the people who are doing it full time as far as like view count and maybe like income and things like that. But the like from us up is there's so many people that I guess we do kind of fit in a category of being successful. We're just not the people that you look at as like the biggest successes. And that's maybe where my imposter syndrome comes from.
Sure, but Mike, you have to realize there's about 10 million people who click the go live button every month on Twitch, at least one time. This is old numbers, so it's probably more now, right? And out of those people, and we know this based on the analytics we got from the leaked payout data about a year and a half ago, whenever that was. 2,000 of them are making full-time income. 2,000. I'm one of them. You're one of them. You make a lot of your money from YouTube. That's fine, right? But you're getting sponsorships. You've got hundreds of viewers, thousands of people flowing through your stream. I mean, bro, it's like, to say you're not at least a medium-sized streamer is underselling yourself. It's like, imagine if you were in a band and people were reaching out to you for sponsorships. You'd be like, dude, I made it. I'm making full-time money doing this. I made it. You know what I mean? Or a podcast or a YouTuber. It's like, I think that it's easy to get imposter syndrome because you know what I think it is for you, Mike? You've been doing this for so long. You're like a frog boiling in water. You didn't see rapid growth. It was just a slow, like scale up. Extremely slow scale up for you, right? Over years and years and years and years and years and years and years. And that's where I'm kind of at now. I've sort of capped out. Unless something miraculous happened, there is no way that I can grow anymore in the category I'm in. Neither can you. And so, unless something miraculous happened, like we picked up a massive YouTube audience and we started pulling people over. That outside viewership is what I'm saying is the only way to gain more viewership, right? TikTok, stories, YouTube, whatever.
Even
Twitter, right? That's the only way to pull people in. Is it's got to be outside. Me and you, there's people who don't like us, of course. Like I'm not saying that everyone likes us.
That's definitely
definitely true for you,
me.
And it's pretty true for me too. I try to be reasonable with people, but man, am I not everyone's cup of tea for sure, and I know that 100%.
Did you see the Star Citizen live the other a week or whatever ago?
No. What happened?
Oh my god! So they have this live show, guys, that they talk about our game that we play, and they mentioned my name, and then the chat started debating whether or not I was a good person or not.
Dude, it's so funny that people we talked about this 2 weeks ago, where I had a moment where someone criticized an opinion of a content creator and brought a real life issue into it. And it's crazy to me that people will watch content creators' content, whether YouTube, and they will judge them solely based on their opinion of the video game they play. Huh?
Yeah.
Like people are let me ask you guys a question in the comments who are listening. When have you been watching this podcast and been like, wow, Mike really sounds like a fucking asshole? You know what I mean? Like,
maybe a few, but
I don't think so. But it's like you have no reason to express yourself in a passionate way on this podcast in terms of like the frustration that you have for Star Citizen, the same frustration I have.
Just don't ask me about third-person inventory in Star Citizen, and we'll be fine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No third person. All right, next question, Mike. What do you think about the third person?
The dumbest idea I've ever seen in my entire life.
Oh my god!
In a video game, I've never seen anything stupider. There we go.
It's like we get frustrated about the game, rightfully so. And it's so funny because me and you share like 95% of the same opinions, and we criticize the game the same way. We just deliver it a bit differently, and your name is Salty, so I think it's easy to hate on you. I think that's part of it. And I think sometimes some people are like, it's easier to like you because of it. I love your chat. You know, your chat's got great energy. I think out of anyone in the Twitch category for Star Citizen, yours has got the best energy. And
Should we talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's a really important part of streaming. And I think we talked about this on I think our first podcast. I can't remember when we talked about like the whole Twitch $100 million deal and all the Twitch stuff. I think that was our first one. And the culture on Twitch has changed quite a bit over the years. But for me, since I came from the old days, like your chat being part of the content was so important to me. I have my chat on screen. So like, even if you're watching on mobile and you want to go full screen or whatever, you're always going to see the chat on the screen because their comments and their interactions with me are part of it. That's what's so important to me is, if they're clowning on me, that adds to it as well, right? Is
Yes.
some of the best content is when they say something really funny, I read it out loud, and then that makes it even funnier, and then it just keeps going from there. So engaging
Absolutely.
your chat and as much of your content as possible, in my opinion, is one of the most successful things you can do.
And if you're listening and you're wondering, how do I get my chat to do that too? I've got 1 viewer, I've got 5 viewers. When people come into your stream, and the way you're going to get people in your, we'll talk about this in a little bit, how you're going to get people into your stream, but how you're going to, once people are there, what you're going to do is you're going to talk to people. I cannot tell you how many smaller streamers I've gone into their streams and I've watched people talk in their chat, and it ticks and it ticks. 30 seconds go by, 2 minutes go by, 5 minutes go by, and they finally read the message. Dude, you've got one person in your chat. Look over. That person's gone. He asked that question and he left because you didn't answer it.
Yeah. And I watched a big streamer in the Star Citizen directory who no longer streams do that exactly and become a small streamer by doing that.
Yeah.
They wanted to become this, like, all I do is just play games, and that's, I'm the entertainment is what I from an outside perspective, that's how I looked at it. I'm not going to, be in their head and what they were thinking, but from the outside perspective is like they were the entertainment and the interaction wasn't. And then they wondered why the view count went down. If I wanted to watch a YouTube video, I'd watch a YouTube video. That's essentially what you're watching at that point, right? I come to Twitch to talk to the chatter, or to at least make fun of them, right? Right? Like at least make like a joke in their chat, or type an emote and spam something and be goofy, right? Like be a part of the stream is that's what Twitch is special about, is you are watching a YouTube video, but now you're a part of it, right? As a chatter. So you as the streamer need to make them a part of it.
Yep. Every single day, I'm talking to my chat. I'm reading as many messages as I can, right? I won't interrupt myself. Like if I'm talking about something, I won't interrupt myself to read another message. So if you get to that point, that's fine. Well, I'll try to finish the point and then move on. So that
I don't.
Just
make like 4 points sometimes. And everyone's like, what is happening? And
no, totally. But I don't want people to feel like what I'm saying is you have to read every message. Right?
Yeah.
If Salty Mike comments like, oh, what ship are you flying? And what ship do you think is the best for, PvP? I can answer that question. If someone else asks a question, they can wait. And if someone subscribes, they can wait for me to thank them until after I'm done answering that question. Right? Because
do you think that that's good for somebody smaller?
Well, I'm just saying if you get to that point is what I'm saying. Where
I think you should start out with that energy right from the beginning.
Really?
Like if I'm talking to somebody, I know a lot of people don't. They stop everything they're doing. Thank you for the follows, all of it, right?
Yes. I would say definitely say thank you for the follows. I would say until you'll know when you should stop thanking people for follows.
When it gets annoying.
You'll know, right? Like,
well, you don't have to stop. You don't even have to stop thanking people for follows, but you shouldn't stop your stream to do it. I do occasionally.
I haven't think to follow in like over a year.
No, I do sometimes, but if
it's
there's
not because I don't
to
appreciate them. Yeah,
of course not. But it just comes down to if there's moments for it or whatever. I'm more talking about subscribers and stuff, because somebody's like actually financially helping you out
100%.
And I think we might have talked about this on another podcast already, but I can't remember, so I'll say it anyway, because it's been an ongoing saga in my stream for the last month. I have one viewer that uses bits more than anybody else, but they also would use them to type like an extremely big message. And I would be like reacting to a video, and the text to speech would just play over the video or over me when I was talking. And I was like, damn, like this guy's like helping me out and like, giving bits and like, awesome. Thank you for the support, obviously. But now all of a sudden it's like this one guy is is one guying like everybody, and nobody can hear the video that we're
No, I
watching, or
agree.
nobody can hear me when I was talking.
This is
So I was
a
like,
great point.
how do I handle this? Right.
Yeah.
So so I guess the solution that I've come up with so far is like when I'm playing a game, right? There's all these like nothing's happening moments. It's totally fine to like have text to speech on. Stop what you're doing. Yo, thank you so much for the sub, whatever, right? But in those like diehard moments in a game, like those content moments that we talked about at the beginning, or for me, if I'm watching videos and hanging out with chat and that's the focus, then I'm always in a content moment, right? So I created I highly, anybody who's brand new and is like looking for advice on, well, what do I use? Obviously OBS, and then for me it's Stream Elements, right? That's like the go-to for your alerts
Yeah.
and for all those things.
Pause
Like
alerts.
there's a way, yeah. I'm not even pausing them. So I created I copied the ones I had before, and then I made them as like a whole new set of alerts, but they're
Okay.
the exact same. And then I turned text to speech off. That's it. Because
Oh.
I don't think the alert sound, mine are not like a huge sound, fucking confetti everywhere playing anymore. It's just like a little sound. So,
Mm.
You get that, and then I'll come back to you when there's a moment to like read your message and thank you so much for everything, right?
Yeah.
And I think if you are even a small streamer, and even though that person is like really doing like, when you have 2 subs and somebody subs, that's 33%, larger subs than what you had before, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
That's such a big deal. But if you were in the middle of a conversation or in the middle of the content, which is going to be the thing that's going to continue to grow, take a second and then thank them. They're not going to hate you for it.
Yeah. I would say just don't wait too long, right? Because
of course.
I have accidentally, and let me tell you what, if someone subs and you miss it, that is a you DM them moment. Like if you feel like it's past the point, like you thank them, be like, oh, I'm so sorry I missed it. We were in the middle of this. Thank it. I DM people if I miss it now. I'm dead serious.
Wow, I don't. And I think people for the most part know I'm like pretty forgetful and pretty bad with that stuff, but I hope I'm not offending anybody if I try my best to be like come back to it and be like, thank you so much, because I obviously really like truly do appreciate it.
Yeah.
They're making our my life, your life incredible. Like how can we not be thankful for it?
Totally.
Right?
If I was getting thousands of subs, then I could see, people understanding, right? But for me,
You
it's
notice
like
big streamers only thank gifted.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
only ever heard big streamers thank you for the 25 gifted. Like, whoa.
Summit
Jesus.
thinks all of his subs.
Summit is an enigma. This guy is the
I don't disagree.
biggest G.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree.
Sick.
But yeah, he'll go through on his like he'll like have a moment of downtime and he'll just like spam him. He'll be like, "Yo, thank you, Berks, Salty Mike, Apex 123, blah 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 blah." He'll just read them all. He's like, "Thanks for the 23 months, and then he's like, "Thanks for the giftos." I mean, dude is a legend, 100%.
Yep.
But no, I think that's natural to like move in that direction. You move from not thinking followers to not thinking subs. And let me tell you what, that is a big jump. I'm talking about you have to be like, to not think subs, you better be at like 10,000 viewers. You know what I mean? Or like over 5K, I think.
Yeah.
You need to be.
It's not even worth.
You need to be getting over 100 subs a stream, right? Which me and Mike aren't even close to. And I'm not talking about gifted. I'm talking about tier ones and primes. You need to be getting over 100 a stream to even consider not thanking them. And that's what I would say is like, if you get to the point where I don't think it's not acceptable not to thank followers once you get to like maybe 100 a stream, like if you have 100 now, do I think that I have I've gained less followers because I thank people less? Maybe, but I'll tell you what, dude.
I know you are getting less followers because you're thanking them less. Because the moment I say anything about it,
you get more follows.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I mean, maybe I could just say something like once an hour that like, hey, if you guys are enjoying the stream, thank you so much for the follows and read it. I could do something like that for sure. But man, I'll tell you what, I become extremely grateful to people when they do subscribe or gift subs or donate. Like financial contributions, I go over the top with my thank yous. And the reason why is because those people are making it happen 100%. And it's like, I've been going above and beyond lately, even more so because we're approaching that 70-30. And I want people to know that if you go above and beyond and you support me, like, you know, I really fucking appreciate you, because it's like I literally couldn't do this without you, you know? So
yeah.
I think that if you're not thinking follows at a certain point, and anyone listening to the podcast who's not a multi-100 person streamer, you shouldn't be considering that, right? But I think like you should always be down. Like, I'm dead serious when I say this. You should be down on your hands and knees thanking people who subscribe and gift until you are at the point where you're making a comfortable living doing Twitch. And even then after that. And the thing is I'm not saying you need to, like, there are some weirdos out there who will think they can have power over you as a streamer by contributing financially. Don't let those people ruin your stream, because what's happening is the other people watching your stream, they know that those people are being weird too. They'll understand when you call them out. They'll understand when you ban that person if they're going too far. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you need to be, if you're just like, yo, thanks for the sub, and you move on, that is a bad response. That's what I think. I don't know what you think about that, but
I think you're right, and that's something that where maybe I've been not as good is I've been so focused on what I'm doing and what everybody is watching that I've been less concerned about like the person who's supporting me. And I'm like, all right, well, if I keep putting up good content, then the support will just naturally come. And like I've gone, what's interesting is I've gone like this entirely different route than that. Like I've even about the like, oh, you should get on your hands and knees when somebody subscribes like early on. Like obviously I know that's an exaggeration, right? But people do that, right?
Yeah.
When you first start streaming, like a lot of people's like follower alerts really big and loud because it's like a big deal, man, right? Like somebody's like following you, like let's go. No, I don't think you should, right? And but the same with somebody's sub, they're like, oh man, it's like big and loud. Ooh, big event, yo, everybody, let's celebrate. Somebody just gave me money.
Exclamation point gifted in the chat.
Yo, everybody else in the chat, celebrate because this dude just gave me money.
I always,
yeah, I know. And this is one thing that I think is really important for everybody to understand is you're always going to make your stream the way you want to.
Sure.
And the way you think is good. And just because I would do it differently I watch Berks stream more than I watch anybody's, right? But the idea of I might do it completely differently doesn't necessarily mean it's wrong, but I absolutely think you're right about just going, oh, yeah, thanks for the sub, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So like, okay. Ding! Berks has just subscribed to you for 69 months. How do you respond?
Yo, what up, Berks? Thanks, man. That's how I've been doing it.
For years.
Yeah.
So like when someone subs to me.
Not for years, but more recently. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
And I think this is like good feedback for me.
Sure. Sure.
Maybe I should be.
Again, I'm not saying you grovel. I'm not saying you have to worship the ground people walk on. I'm just saying be genuinely thankful. Like, okay, ding, Salty Mike is subscribed to you for 69 months.
Yep.
Yo, Mike, what's up, bro? Dude, thank you so much for the 69 months. I really appreciate you, man. I hope you're having a good Wednesday. Appreciate you, dude. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
crazy.
And I think the important word is genuinely thankful because I am as thankful as you are enthusiastic there, right? But I'm not. My personality doesn't get me there.
Maybe people like that, dude. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong about this. Maybe people like the way that you're thanking them. They like that you're more chill. You know, they like that. You know, you don't go above and beyond.
If I did that, would you think I was being genuine?
I think that if it was a consistency thing, yeah. You know, but if you were just like out of nowhere, you're like, Captain Berks, yo, thanks for the sub. Ladies and gentlemen, can we get some 07s in the chat? I mean, when people gift subs more than 5, even when people gift more than 5, I make it a big deal. I'm like, listen, guys, you know what to do. We throw 07s in the chat just to let people know. Like, we appreciate people who support this channel. They make it happen. If you got a gifted sub, make sure to thank them. Like, this person's making it happen. Thank you so much.
So weird. It's like I can't get myself there.
And maybe
I can't get myself there.
Maybe I'm wrong, dude. Maybe people just need to find their own.
I don't think you're wrong. I think everybody's personality is slightly different.
Yeah.
I'm just like a more.
I mean, lean into what works for you.
Yeah, but I don't know if it works for me or not, because I could be taking your approach a little bit more, maybe not entirely, right? But a little bit more. And I've seen success doing it. And then it's just reminding myself to do that a little bit. But the idea of getting myself there is interesting, because that's not me.
Yeah.
Yet, or entirely, right? It's just not me. And yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna ask my chat about this, because it's interesting, because I thank them and I say I really appreciate it, but that's kind of where I end it.
I'm not trying to fake it, by the way. Like, I'm
not saying you are.
No, I know.
You are genuine.
I know. But it's like, I genuinely know. And dude, I don't know how I've gotten so lucky, to be honest. I've built and maybe it's just because I'm so like non-BS about like my chat. If someone's being weird in chat, there was someone who was being weird in my chat the other day, and they were being super weird. And I just like timed them out for a week. And I was like, dude, they've been cool in my chat before. And I was like, dude, you've got some really weird energy right now. They'd said some stuff that was just super strange, like clearly over the line and very strange. I don't know if they were just like drunk or what, but I was like, you need like come back when you're all right. Because I'm not saying like you can't, like there was a streamer a while back. Do you remember this? Where someone came into the chat and they were like, oh, my dad just died. And they're like,
dude,
thanks for ruining my stream on a Friday, ruining the energy in my stream. Like, that is so disrespectful.
The vibes were here, Berks, and now they're here.
Now they're here. Like, that was unbelievable to me. I'm not saying you have to, but
that's still a meme in my chat. Whenever I'm like, guys, I'm having a bad day, they're like, they just go, on a Wednesday? Come on, dude. It's still a thing. It's so funny.
It's crazy to me. I would never treat a viewer like that.
That was an iconic streaming moment. That was an iconic streaming moment,
dude,
of what not to do.
It really is. And don't get it twisted. There will be people who fake stuff like that for attention in your chat. And don't let those people, like I'm talking about when a dedicated viewer or something comes in. I'm pretty sure this person was a mod, right? And that person's stream is, from what I remember, they were a mod.
I don't know.
I'd be wrong.
I can't remember that.
They were someone important, either a VIP or a sub or something, right? If they come,
they
to
were
your
a
stream,
regular,
or even a regular,
that's for sure.
Even a regular comes in your stream, and they tell you something like that. Just be like, dude, so sorry you're having a glad day, or sorry, so sorry you're having a bad day. I'm glad you're here now. Let's see if we can make it better together. You know, like we're playing some Star Citizen, dude. Like, here's what's going on. And you shift the topic completely away from that. You know, like, dude, I'm thinking about you. And don't say, like, by the way, comma, don't ever say to your Twitch chat or your stream, if you ever need something, you can come talk to me, come DM me. Listen, one of the best pieces of advice I can give to you as a streamer is you are not people's therapist. Do not put yourself in that position. It's not helpful for you, and it's not helpful for them. If they seriously need help, tell them that. Tell them, go get help. That's all you do. Tell them, go get help. I don't really feel comfortable addressing this myself. Go get help. Because I've had people try to do that to me before. And they're like, oh, you're like the only thing that brings me happiness. And, you know, some viewer was threatening to do something unspeakable if, like, I didn't, like, recognize him in stream. And I was just like, dude, you can't. I banned him. I ended up banning him. I said, go get help. Because you can't let those people dictate your stream. Now, that being said, it's your job as a streamer to navigate the energy, right? Like I said, oh man, like so sorry that happened. You know, I hope it gets better soon. Like, yo, chat, let's send some love. You know, let people like spam a little heart emoji, and then you shift the topic away. Why? Because that person came to your stream. If they're genuinely there for you, they're genuinely there for your stream. They came to your stream to be distracted from that problem, right? So just shift it away. That's all you gotta do. You know?
Yep. I think that's good. That's good advice, because there's going to be so many situations like that. And then the other one that he brings up is like, if there's when you're low on viewers, and I'm sure you've been in this situation before, and if you're just starting out streaming, I guarantee you will be as well. You're going to feel that like that one viewer is going to make a difference. But in reality, if that one viewer is causing problems in the chat, making you feel uncomfortable or whatever,
they're ruining other people's viewing experience too.
Because and if your experience is bad, then it's why did you ever turn on the start streaming button?
That's true as well.
I'm gonna start popping off soon, because I've had a lot of trouble lately, and for like popping on stream and just having bad energy around me in the chat, and like just not enjoying myself. And the thing is like I do have a more glass half empty type of like view on the world. So obviously just, you know, another thing to recognize when you first start streaming is you're going to attract people very similar to yourself, or similar to the persona that you might want to put out there. Because there's some persona streamers, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. If you want to create a character or whatever, look at Dr. Disrespect, right? Like, you know, you could do that. But that's just not Berks or I. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't work, right? The thing, and so I obviously will attract some of that, but it's gotten to the point where like we used to do a lot more of just, if something was bad, we made fun of it and it was funny. And now something is bad and it's just anger and hate and despair every moment, like fucking despair emoji, right? Like all day. And that's what I don't want to deal with anymore. It's just like, you know, it's some of them are like coming in and trying to trigger me now. So yeah, it's like, ugh. So it's just better to. I
sometime, and I said this on a session we did like 2 weeks ago, but what I said was, you have to take everything people say as a joke. Like literally, your response needs to be, Summit does it so well. I keep going back to Summit. He's the GOAT, right?
Well, he's the GOAT, yeah.
He's the GOAT. But someone will say something rude to him, and he'll just be like, "Oh, bro, why you gotta do that to me?" Or, you know, like, he'll just let it roll off his back. He responds to it, but he just keeps on going, you know?
Yeah.
He acknowledges the positive comments, and then the people who have negative comments, he takes them as, oh, bro, like, oh, you know, oh, that's a jab, you know, oh, like, you just can't take yourself too seriously. If you take yourself too seriously as a streamer, now, obviously, there's a line, and people are, you know, insulting your personality, they're insulting your intelligence, they're insulting your looks, you know, and that's too much for you, that's fine. But what I'm going to say is that the more rock solid your skin can be in these situations where you're creating content and you're letting people joke about, the rule in my chat is you can joke about me, you cannot joke about other people, you know? And the only thing you're not allowed to joke about with me is my dyslexia, my reading capabilities. That's the only thing. I mean, I literally have a disability. And it's like I really, really try really hard to read at the speed and at the level that I want to, and I can't. And it frustrates me because I've tried to practice it, I've tried to work at it, and I still don't get any better. And it's a comprehension thing. And I'm very comprehensive about lots of stuff, just not reading. And it's something that's a big bummer for me. And so when people make, you know, negative comments about it, it bums me out, man. Like it really makes me sad. And that's something that is a line for me, that if people make jokes about, I will literally time them out for a week. I'll ban them because I've made it clear. And if someone's new or it's someone who hasn't made that joke before, I'll literally warn them. I'll just be like, hey, just so you know, guys, I've got dyslexia. Or I've been even better lately. Someone who does know makes the joke. And I go, man, I thought you were a real fan. If you were a real fan, you would have known that I'm dyslexic and I can't read. You know, that's what I'll say. And it shifts the blames to them. It's funny, you know, and that's a really good way to handle it, I think. But I think it's okay to have lines. It's okay to have boundaries. 100%. One million percent.
And set those lines when you start and stick to them.
Yeah.
Don't let anybody cross them and make you feel uncomfortable.
Absolutely. But, and man, we're really speaking too from our personal experience. If you're a person who is, not a male streamer is what I'm going to say, man, you might be going down a completely different route. And I totally feel for you, because people like to say that, women have it easier streaming or creating content, but man, do they have it harder?
I've seen it.
They have it harder in so many ways. Many ways they have it harder. And people forget that. They get more harassment. They get more fake viewership. And what I mean by that is people who want to watch them because they think they have maybe a chance at dating them, or they want attention from them. And then if they find out they have a significant other or a husband, or, maybe they're not interested in dating them, they leave. How many times has a viewer left you because they wanted to date you and they found out that you were married? Probably zero.
Thousands.
At least one, maybe one.
Maybe one. I don't know.
I would say personally.
None that I know of.
But
so
I think that I don't know. It's tough. Definitely as a man, it's easy for me to speak from my experience. I would just say, man, if there's an opportunity for you to reach out to another, creator who's a woman, maybe ask for their advice. Honestly, that's probably someone who we should have on the podcast at some point. Talk to them about it. I would love to. Yeah. Honestly, that'd be a great podcast topic, is talking about the difficulties of streaming, for, women maybe, and what the differences are. Because it's a lot different, man. It really is.
For sure. I mean, it's not even just for women, right? Like, we're also just like white dudes, right? Like what? True. Like the hate rating stuff that was happening a long time ago. Like, I don't think there's anybody that has it easier than you or I. And just so everybody knows, I wish we talked about it earlier, or like when we first started, is we got a lot of feedback from the most recent podcast where we didn't know what the show was going to be, right? And we're like, all right, we're going to talk about whatever. And obviously the thing we know the most is streaming. So we, like, a lot of people were like, oh dude, I really like your streaming conversations. I really, really enjoy them. And, so we've kind of are going down that route, maybe more, we'll go over, I think we'll be going over a lot more.
Yeah. We're going to try not to repeat content though, Yeah.
Yes. But like, that's how we got to this episode is what I'm saying, right? Is like, all right, I feel like this is all new. Wanted to hear this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. It's not about new or not. It's like, I think for me, it was like, all right, well, this is what people were like interested in hearing about. So 100%. It's not, we could only give advice from our perspective, right? We can't give it from anyone else's. Of what you might experience is obviously going to vary. Yeah. But I think if you speak in like more broad terms, it's like set boundaries, be consistent, make YouTube videos, mods you can trust, and that are there to,
don't trust your mods too much. Don't trust your mods too much, I'll say. Don't give them like your passwords and stuff. That's weird. No. Handle that stuff yourself. But
don't give them your phone number.
Yes, don't give them your phone number. Leave your real life stuff in your real life. Unless they're like your real life friends. That's okay. Right? Yeah. But like, it's okay to separate
my phone number.
Oh, that's fine. Right?
I gave my phone number to, like, when I first started streaming, we went to an event, gave my phone number to another streamer, and then they don't really stream that much anymore. And it was just like, they were commenting on my YouTube videos in my texts. And I was just like, bro, what the boundaries are being crossed so hard here. I was like, nah.
Yo, Mike, can I have your number, bro? Is that...
you don't even have my number.
I don't. Yeah. I don't have Mike's number, for the record. There's no reason.
What do we need phone numbers for?
There's no reason to have it, No. It's not like me and Mike aren't close thing. I would say me and Mike, I'd say we're very close. Yeah. And it's like, there's just no reason, it's like Discord's a great tool. And we both use it a lot. So, there's no reason. Boundaries are good. So, Mike, let's let's wrap it up here. Okay.
Yep.
3 tips you would give for someone to grow their stream, or just general tips for streaming in general. What would you give someone? They're starting out. They're a 2-viewer Andy. It's themselves watching themselves on the phone and their mom. What are you going to give to someone? Maybe they're streaming Star Citizen. Maybe they're not.
If it's a game, you either need to do something different, like something that nobody else is doing, and that you like find something that is missing.
I give this advice today.
Yep. The best example, I think, is when I noticed Berks, when I was like, okay, he's going to be somebody here, was when he started going, like doing like world first content in Star Citizen. It's like nobody was doing that. And I was like, okay, he's got a mind for this. He's doing something different. So he is being noticed for it. Right. And that's how he kind of broke through that. I think he was already he was in the 100 viewer number before he started doing that. But that's what took you, in my opinion, from 100 to 200 to 500.
That was a big moment for me.
Those moments. And I think you really capitalized on that.
I know what moment you're talking about, the first one. And that was a really, really big moment for me. That was like the first time I had close to 1,000 viewers. Yep. And it was because we were world first taking out the Idris.
Mm-hmm. And I was like, he's got the eye for this. He knows what he's doing. And then so like find a game that you can break into.
Yep.
That people have, like, there's a lot of games that people are hyped for that you can't play yet, or that aren't quite there yet, right? Like Star Citizen's one of those. I mentioned Ashes of Creation before. There are hundreds of games like this, right?
Yep.
And then if you want to go games, I don't know IRL, okay? I really don't. If you're doing IRL stuff, be unique. Jake and Bake was like a great example of somebody who was like, all right, he's in Japan, he's in China, he's showing you things that you can't see normally every single night, and doing cool shit, right? So that's how people become who they are. So that would be 1. 2 would be consistent. 3 would be you have to make your content on Twitch with your mind on YouTube.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
That's really good. Dang, it's going to be hard to follow those out because those are all really, really good.
You let me go first.
I let you go first because, I mean, I'm going to reiterate. I'm going to give 3 new ones. But consistency, huge. I would say doing stuff different. This is advice I gave today. Someone was talking about it. I said, look at what everyone else is doing in the category. People are mining. People are bunker busting. People are, doing XYZ, FPS challenge, whatever. Do something what they're doing, but go do it better. Go do mining, but if I don't make this much in an hour, I explode. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, it's creating challenges or creating content that's time-based or challenge-based that people will potentially want to see, right?
Yeah.
Doing it not just what everyone else is doing. Give people a reason to watch you. That's a really good one. And that's something that I did a lot. The best content in the game whenever I first started.
I just thought of an idea for a stream now.
Awesome. Amazing. The best content I ever did the content I did at the beginning to grow was like, let's get together and shoot each other in this ship. And we're going to do FPS battles. Nobody else was doing that except one other guy. And I was like, okay, I need to come up with like my own ideas, right? That was pretty good. I'm getting inspired by someone else. That's a good one, right? Go watch other people, find out what they're doing, find out what you love about their stream, and then go replicate it. I'm not saying copy, but like, for example,
make it your own.
We talk about Frost, right? I'm not going to go make Rust videos, right? But I can make his style of videos in Star Citizen, and it's my own thing, right? Yep. So get inspired by people and then make it your own. And I'm talking about streams. I'm talking about YouTube. I'm talking about shorts. Go find a short you really love and then find the game you're trying to stream and then replicate it. Try to make it go viral. See what happens, right? Great advice, I would say, for someone who's like just starting. And even for people who aren't just starting, it's really great advice. Even for myself, honestly, I need to do more of that stuff. Like find great videos and get inspired and then go recreate that in my own way. You know, I would say number 2, turn your view count off. And no matter how many people are in chat, act like you're a 1,000-person streamer. I said this earlier, but if people aren't chatting, there's 1,000 people in stream. They're just too enamored by the content you are creating to chat right now. They are so locked in that they are unable to chat. You create something in your mind. Become the streamer you want to be. Dress for the job that you want, I would say.
Or try to engage with them, right?
Yeah, try to engage with people, for sure.
You know,
and that's what I mean.
About that weather, guys. You know, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, you can do anything.
Chad, I got a serious question. I can't tell you how many times I do this to stream. Chad, I got a serious question. Which is the best ice cream flavor? And there is wrong answers. And then people will talk about their ice cream flavors, and we have a 30-minute conversation about that, and it spools into, you know, oh, like what's your favorite this, and you know, I ate this, and I went to this place, and it was really amazing, and it just snowballs from there. In creating topics like that, and I would say even talking about recent events or things that are happening in the gaming space is really good too. But yeah, I mean, that's great advice. I should have said that, but that's what I mean by pretend like you're a 1,000-person viewer.
Exactly.
And the thing is if nobody answers your question, answer it yourself until someone does. Pretend like people are answering. Seriously. All right. So, hey guys, what's your favorite chicken wing? Nobody's answering. Dude, honestly, my favorite chicken wings are Buffalo Wild Wings. They have these Parmesan crisps that are so good. And don't even get me started on the mango buffalo. Like, they're the mango habanero.
Because that's when I'm gonna pop in and be like, Parmesan.
What? That's disgusting. Listen, you don't know what you're talking about, Mike. Listen, is there anyone out there who's watching the stream who can back me up about this Mike guy who's saying that Parmesan's disgusting? Any Parmesan lovers out there? And just creating a snowball from there. You create the energy. You're gonna replicate the energy in your chat that you give off. And I think like that's why your chat is so like goofy and wild. And why I honestly think I have a lot more chill chat, and I think it's because I'm just a very chill person.
I try to go to Berks' chat and get things like riled up and be a little spicy too, and nobody like vibes with it, and Berks sometimes will just be like, and just like just be like, all right, Mike, chill out. I can tell sometimes.
No. Well, it's funny because like the other day when you came into my stream, you said something. You said, I won't say who's about, but you were like, any push to talkers is what you said. I just missed the message is all. You know, it wasn't that
you responded to it.
Oh,
I don't even later, but you don't even like for me, I'll just type some like stupid cringe thing and like emote. And then sometimes it's like, but if nobody else engages with it, it doesn't have the same effect, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, what's
just
the point
one of
of
those
even paying attention
times
to
too,
it?
right? Where like, dude, whenever I have like a big stream, there's a patch launch or something, 2,000 people in the stream. I mean, dude, my chat is wild. KEKW's flying. People are making jokes left and right. It's just one of those times, right, where things are a little bit more chill. And that happens, right? And here's my final piece of advice. You ready? Okay? I'm going into it. Consistency's key, right? But with consistency will come waves. Don't let your slow times dictate your high times. And this is good advice for you right now, Mike, right?
Yep, because I'm feeling this right now. I'm here. I'm right there.
If you have
I'm not here.
Yep.
But I can go all the way down if I let here be really shitty.
Absolutely. It's like you can either be a roller coaster and, you know, go up and down and then loop around, or you can just like, you know, nosedive into the ground. It's up to you, right? And so I would say if you have like a 5-viewer stream and you're like, okay, that was good. And then the next day you have a 15-viewer stream, you're like, oh my God, like that's amazing. And then the day after that, you got a 7-viewer stream. Dude, be thankful that you gained 2 viewers from the previous day, right? Work on it, build on it. You're going to have days of the week that are better than others. For me, Saturdays and Sundays are the best. I take Sundays off now to spend time with my girlfriend because...
And those are my worst.
That's so funny.
You just never know. Yeah.
Saturdays, and you know what my third best day is, but it's now my second best day? Mondays. Mondays are so good for me. Unbelievably
That's the
good.
only day I take off.
Unbelievably good for me. And maybe that's why, because you take Mondays off.
We don't stream at the same time, really.
Well, sure. But maybe people are like, oh man, I didn't get to catch a Mike stream today, so let me catch Berks. You know?
Could be.
Maybe. I mean, me and Mike, if you guys don't know, I share more viewership with Mike than anyone else, and it's not even close. It's not even close.
Same.
Yeah. So, and maybe it's how much we interact, I would assume, but I've always shared more viewership with you than pretty much anyone. Yeah. So, like, since for maybe the last couple of years, I should say. So,
yes. So when you moved to daytime, I think.
Yeah.
I think that was the main change.
Maybe a couple months after I moved to daytime.
Yep.
Yeah, it started to roll up. But yeah, 100%, man. I think that you guys out there who are wanting to become great streamers, it's not impossible. A lot of hard work, a lot of consistency, and some luck. It's going to take some luck. It's not for everyone, but at the end of the day, I think the best advice we can give you out of anything we said today is what Mike said. Have fun. Don't stream so you can be a millionaire. Don't stream so you can get an audience, because if you stream for those things, you are setting yourself up for disappointment. Stream so you can have fun, ignore your viewership, and just send it. Try to create fun moments and hang out with your chat and have fun along the way. And I would say if at any point you're hating streaming, I would say either readjust what you're doing, figure out something different, or quit. Because let me tell you right now, the amount of people who make it to full-time income is so unbelievably low that it is not worth your happiness trying to grind something that is making you depressed and unhappy. 100%.
There's a saying that I first heard in poker, but it probably goes to some of these other types of industries as well, like streaming very similar. It's a hard way to make an easy living.
Yep, absolutely.
It's a hard way to make an easy living.
Hard way to make an easy living. And a lot of people see that streaming as a dream job, and it is, but it's more work than a lot of people think. Some days I'm like, man, maybe this isn't for me. And I haven't had that. My
mother-in-law.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I thought you were done. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I haven't, and I'll end on this, I haven't had one of those moments in a long time. And that's a good feeling.
Yeah.
But go ahead. Your mother-in-law.
My mother-in-law is a teacher, and she tells her kids that I'm a streamer, and they're all like, "Oh my god, that's what like that's so cool. That's what I want to be." Blah, blah. It's like, whoa, this is crazy. Yeah.
Anytime I tell anyone, if they're younger than me, they're like, "Oh my god," and if they're older than me, they're like, "Huh? You get paid to do what?" You know, like,
you must be really good at the game. That's what I get, and I'm like, "No, I'm actually terrible at it."
Well, it's funny.
And that's what's fun.
Yeah,
because that's what I'm bad. They type so omega lol, s omega lol bad, and then that's the stream. Wrap it up 5 hours later.
Yep.
Here we go.
Yep. But dude, I mean, I love streaming. I feel like it's only going to be up from here for us. Is it going to be Star Citizen? Man, I hope so. I do like the game a lot. But and this, I guess, no, I shouldn't open up this question. This will be for a different week.
You're gonna
This is gonna be, if I ask this question,
should you play one game?
If I ask this question, guys, if I ask this question, we will be here for the next hour.
It's simple. Variety streaming is hard. Playing one game is hard. They both have their positives. They both have their negatives.
Of course.
That's it.
Yeah.
But it's just, again, it goes back to having fun.
It's a great way to sum it up.
If that's the one game you play, whatever, and you want to play that game every day, that's what you do. If you want to play a bunch of different video games, then that's probably what you should try to do.
Yeah, and I think being a variety streamer is harder, FYI. I really do. It's a lot harder to make it.
You want to deal with these, you're going to deal with a lot more of those in variety streaming.
Yep, absolutely. Well, Mike, I had fun today. I thought this was good. I had fun.
I thought it was good too.
It's a good combo.
I was
better
worried
combo than I thought, honestly.
I was worried that my imposter syndrome was going to be like too much, and I managed to just like suppress it and be like, these are the things that I've done and that I think have worked for me, and I just
Hell yeah.
And that's where I went with it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I just feel like some people are watching and just going to be like, look at that idiot.
I mean,
that idiot over there.
It's like, listen, you're hosting a podcast now that has 1,000 weekly listen. I don't think it's actually that much, pretty close, but it's like, I told that to Mike before stream. I was like, dude, how would it feel to be the host of a podcast with 1,000 weekly listeners? And he was like, that sounds pretty good. Like, that sounds pretty cool, honestly. I agree.
Yeah, when you put it that way.
Sounds sick. When you put it that way, like we don't have a YouTube video with 1,000 views. We have 1,000 weekly listeners. That sounds sick, honestly. So, I mean, it's
Thank you for that, guys.
We appreciate y'all, you know, like you guys are
a cool ride.
Yeah. I mean, it's unbelievable. We get to like show up here every week and like hang out. I love hanging out with Mike, and we get to hang out and just like talk about random stuff. And you guys are here to hang out with us. So we freaking appreciate y'all. You guys who show up to the streams too. Please go tier 1 subscribe to Mike. You know, help him hit that 350 goal.
Almost there,
laughing, bro. Why are you laughing? Wait, how many? Because
why not you too?
Say? I mean,
300. It was just above 300. I can't remember the exact one.
I'm at 369.
It was like 305.
I'm feeling good.
You're right there.
I'm three. If we can hold that, you guys are listening to this podcast right now. I'm on vacation. I'm in, the Caribbean.
Yeah,
somewhere.
We're recording this a
week before.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
A week before.
Kind of a week before. Yeah. And man, I'm like, I'll be candid with you guys. I'm a little bit nervous about the subscriber fall off while I'm gone, but I feel like 19 subs is a good enough buffer that if I hit it hard when I get back, we'll be good. So
yeah. You got anything exciting planned for when you get back? I'm
thinking, no guarantees if you're listening to this, but I'm thinking either doing community events every day for a week, or like do a community event once a day. So I do like some other me content where I bounty hunt or whatever. And then I do a community event every single day and maybe give away a ship or I don't know, something. I got like 1 million ships in my hangar that CIGs I don't give away. Got to do something with. But the other thing I'm thinking about is maybe doing a 24-hour stream when I get back. I don't know. That's probably a bad idea. I think the other one's better. But just something to make up and say, like, thank you guys for being patient with me. Honestly, dude, if I would have known the 70-30 split thing was coming in July, I would have taken my vacation in June. 100%. But it's all good. You got to plan for what you do know, not what you don't know.
Bro, you could look at it any other way. I would go, if you did that, you would have a much lower number to start with, and it would be so much harder to get to where you are now. You could look at at the world from any angle you want, right? And it could be seen in a different way. So just roll with it. I think you'll be fine.
I'm just gonna have a banger stream on Saturday before I leave. I'm gonna thank my community, and hopefully, I trust my community enough that they're going to support me through this goal. So, Anyways, appreciate you guys. Thanks for hanging out and listening to another week of the Desync podcast. We'll catch you guys next week. We appreciate you. And we'll see you guys next time. Peace out.
Later, everybody.